Welcome to TFO SportsCast. I'm the master of disaster, the tower of power, just too sweet to be sour, the Raj. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Top 5 moments of Week 5. Number 5. Westeros Guardians versus the Axe Icons. The 3-2 Westeros Guardians galloped into the 3-2 Axe Icons with a mid-season battle. The Guardians took the early lead 14-0 with 2 massive passes from Tywin Lannister to Oberyn Martell. And bad turned to worse for the Icons as TFO's number 1 quarterback, Buddy Guy, leaves the game after Seaworth struck him down. But the Icons rallied behind backup quarterback Tony Iommi and were able to connect a touchdown pass on his very first play. But the Guardians would go up 8 more points with 2 field goals and a safety to close the first half, 22-7. But Iommi wanted to prove that he can be the man and was able to find Jimi Hendrix twice to bring the score within 1. But winter was coming as Jon Snow caught a 36-yard touchdown pass to slay the Icons. Guardians best the Icons, 29-21. Number 4. Rainbow Unicorns versus Sith Warriors. The Rainbow Unicorns have not had the best of luck this season. They are currently on a 4-game losing streak, with their only win occurring in Week 1. The Sith Warriors, after starting 2-0, have also been on a losing streak, as they have been winless in their last 3 games. The dark side smiles as Sith running back Darth Maul returned, but Sith quarterback Darth Vader stumbled and was safety sacked by Fairy Yeeby to give the Unicorns a 2-point lead going into the half. But then the Unicorns found their fire as they scored an impressive 28 points in the second half alone. Couple that with the Unicorn defense giving the Sith running game the middle horn for only 38 rushing yards on the day, and them Unicorns remember what it's like to win. Unicorns over the Warriors, 37-21. Number 3. New York-Miami Wolverines versus the Beer Gods. My do-not-miss game of Week 6, and what a contest it was. The undefeated New York-Miami Wolverines going into Beer God Stadium on the day of beers, St. Patrick's Day. And how fitting it was for Beer God's wide receiver George Killian to draw first blood with an impressive 55-yard touchdown reception. Not to be outdone, Tim Biaka-Batuka ran a 62-yard rush to tie the game back up, and the teams would go back and forth with touchdown after touchdown until the Wolverine offense stumbled and had to settle for a 38-yard Jay Feely field goal. Beer God's quarterback Rogue Dead Guy took advantage as he connected a 32-yard pass to Elliot Ness to take the lead. This left a minute of the game clock, and we all know that is where Dan Marino shines. But the green beer must have been too much as the Beer Gods did what no other team could. They stopped the lucky Marino. Undefeated Wolverines lose to the Beer Gods, 24-28. Number 2. South Jersey Slashers versus the Enterprise Trekkies. This was billed as the Battle of the 1-4s. Up till last week, the South Jersey Slashers were winless, and with the exception to their Week 1 victory, so are the Trekkies. But with 55 points on the board and over 600 yards of offense on the day, you wouldn't know these teams are only 1-4. Both teams traded touchdowns and were tied 21-21 when Will Riker hit the end zone to take the Trekkies up by 6. That is when disaster hit the Enterprise as Deanna Troy's extra point was blocked. The Slashers made their way downfield and made it to the 11-yard line when they were forced to go for it and were unsuccessful. All seemed bleak for South Jersey, but them killers kept their composure and forced Trekkies quarterback James T. Kirk to make a massive mistake as his pass was picked off by Mr. Earl Brooks. The Slashers then capitalized on the mistake with a pass to Patrick Bateman to tie the game, and then the extra point by Simon Cartwright to win by 1. Slashers beat the Trekkies via blocked extra point, 28-27. Number 1. Atlanta Maulers versus the Greek Legends. And finally, Ric Flair is back. Would the Atlanta quarterback be able to not get injured? The Legends weren't going to wait and find out as they hit the end zone first with a lightning bolt pass from Zeus to Apollo. Flair would prove he still has some flair and hit the number 1 wide receiver, Dr. Death, with a pass of his own. Zeus then ran one in for a Legends touchdown, and Achilles made it another to take the Legends up by 14. But the Maulers would react with a Flair touchdown pass to the Icon Sting to bring the game within 7. And right before halftime, the number 1 kicker in TFO, Legends kicker Uranus, missed a 49-yard field goal. After halftime, the Maulers scored again with a pass to Arn Anderson, followed by a J.J. Dillon field goal to take them into the lead for the first time on the day. But Sky God Uranus was able to nail a 50-yard field goal to take us to overtime. But in overtime, the Maulers won the coin toss and never looked back, as Ric Flair connected with Sir Steven Regal to pick up the overtime victory. Maulers victorious over the Legends 30-24. My do not miss game of week 7. Llama Nation versus Tim's Nightmares on Thursday Night Football. This Thursday, we go live to Tim Burton Stadium as them Llamas waltz in to take on the Nightmares. Both these powerhouse teams are 4-2, and both are just one game out from the Mad Snap leader, the Bitsmack Slackers. What will happen with the Nightmares' number 1 defense, which has held teams to an average of 80 yards rushing a game, when they face off against the TFO's number 4 offense, the Llama Nation, and the number 1 running back in TFO, Belt Buckle Face, who has an average of 140 yards rushing per game? The Nightmares are bringing the big defensive guns with the Oogie Boogie Man and the Mad Hatter nailing 13 sacks total this season. And let's not forget about the trio of Lydia Dietz, Oogie's Barrel, and Oogie's Lock, who have picked up a total of 6 passes on the season. But even with those impressive stats, for me, I gotta go with the Llama Nation. As Llama Nation owner BJ Kirk said earlier this week, it's going to take a nation of millions to stop this nation of llamas from making the playoffs. Toughest remaining schedule? Bring the pain, the popcorn, Kate Upton, and a leprechaun. End quote. The Llamas just have too many offensive weapons, from quarterback Ol Risai, who's the number 6 quarterback in all of TFO, to wide receiver Latacious Duke, who has the 5th best yards per reception in all of TFO. So I'm going with the Llama Nation in this contest. Well, that's all we have for today. Join us for Thursday Night Football tonight, and see you next Tecmo.